Hi everybody, today we are going to be looking at some nonfiction, but we're going to be looking at something that's super interesting. It's one of my favorite treats or foods. We are going to be looking at donuts, and we're going to use donuts to look at some nonfiction text features. So how this is going to work, we're going to go through the book. We're going to look at these text features as we go. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts because this is a really long book. And then at the end, I will put up some questions that you can answer at the end if you have time. You can also just think about them or discuss them with someone, but if you want, you can write them down. You can leave them in the comments. If you're in my class, you can bring them up in our video chat tomorrow. Whatever you want to do to get your brain going, it is totally up to you. If you already know some of these text features from school or you've been doing your own research, you can totally write them down as you go if you notice them before I do. Or if you just want to follow along, that's awesome as well. So we are going to get started. The first text feature that we're going to look at is the table of contents. So I will show you what that looks like. So a table of contents is normally at the beginning of the book, and it outlines the main chapters or the main parts of the book, just so you can kind of get an overview. And table of contents can also function as something if you want to go back to the book quickly and you don't want to go through all the pages, you can quickly use it to get to where you need to go. And then we are going to start off with the first excerpt, and I'll show you the pages ahead of time if you want to identify them yourself. So here are the first couple pages that we're going to look at. So if you want to identify some of the text features now on your own, you can do that. Otherwise, I will go through some of them. So you can pause that if you want. And right off the bat, we can notice that there are headings. So this is a heading, and this is also a heading. And headings function also as, like the table of contents gives us a preview and overview of the book. The heading is going to give us an overview or a preview of that section of where we're going to read. So I'm going to read you a quick section of this, and the heading is called What Kinds Are There? So you can use that. We're probably going to read about different kinds of donuts. So it says that donuts come in a variety as great as that of Americans. Almost. If you are a donut maker, you find out quickly, even in a machine, no two donuts are ever alike. Just like people, they defy uniformity. There are variations of shape and texture. A bulge here, a dent there. There are toppings, icings, fillings, and flavors. If you multiply all this variety, you get thousands of possibilities. A mixed plant has more than 400 mixes. Even the package differs widely, with yellow as the most popular color for donut packages. Black is the least. Donuts have distinct personalities. A long john is an oblong, yeast-raised donut. A hole-in-one is a donut with ice cream and fudge. Donut holes poked from the middle and fried up are called munchkins, smidgets, and pop'ems. There are molasses donuts, maple donuts, pumpkin donuts, peanut butter donuts, even bacon and egg donuts. There are cider mill and Boston cream, butter crunch, and buttermilk donuts. Dunkarettes are half donuts for dunking. There are grapefruit peel donuts and fruitcake donuts and malted milk donuts and honey bran donuts. There are donuts topped with marshmallow or meringue, ones filled with marmalade and fig, and there are light donuts for Weight Watchers. So, true to what the header was telling us, we just read about a bunch of different kinds of donuts. So that was just a little intro to how many different kinds of donuts are, and we didn't even name all the donuts. There are a couple flavors of donuts that I eat or that I normally see in a donut shop that weren't mentioned here. So it's true, just like it said at the beginning, there are so many types of donuts, the possibilities are endless, and they're just like people. That's also what the text said. That's really funny to think about how donuts are like people. We're all different. Okay, so now we're going to look at some other text features that we see here. So the next one is diagram. So we see a fun little diagram on this page, and the donuts are being defined on the side, and it's called Who's Who. So it's a fun diagram talking about the different types. So there's glazed, there's jelly, there's zebra stripes, confetti sprinkles, coconut, chocolate frosted, and vanilla frosted. So we can use diagrams to help organize information, to show facts, to show different types of things. So a diagram is just used to categorize and organize information and to put pictures and facts together. And the next one we're going to look at, we're going to see a lot of this in this book, are pictures or images. So in this book, the author puts a lot of pictures to go with what they're talking about so that we can get full coverage of the information. So if we don't quite understand from the text, we can look at the pictures to help us. Or if we kind of get it, but we would like to see a picture to help us visualize it, we can use the pictures as well. And in these pictures, it's showing famous comedians and actors, probably from the 40s, with their donuts. So donuts have been around for a super long time. And with the pictures, normally we will see a caption. And a caption is normally a description explaining what's going on in that picture. And so I already explained by looking at this caption, I didn't know who these people were. So I used the caption to help me figure out why did the author put that there, what's going on in the picture. So captions are really helpful. And going back to pictures, it could be like a photograph picture, it could be an image of something, it could be a drawing, it could be an illustration. Anything that shows you what the text is talking about counts as a picture or an image. Okay, and we have 2 more text features, so we're going to go to a different section of the book. And I'll show you what these 2 pages look like, so you can look at them on your own and see if you identify them. So you can pause that if you want. So already we can identify some similar ones. We have headings, we have images, we have captions, and we're also going to read a quick section and then I'm going to give you a new text feature. So the section and the heading is called, "What are the firsts in donuts?" The world's first donut was yeast raised, like bread. Before the first donut machine, donuts were made either by hand in a frying pan or with a hand crank over a pot of oil. The first donut company was the Donut Corporation of America. The first retail donut shop was in Times Square in 1931, the Mayflower Shop, later to become one of America's first chains. The first package of donuts was the Bag Pack, 6 donuts wrapped in wax paper. Many people ate their first donut at the World's Fair in 1933, where modern donut production by automatic machine was on display for the first time to millions. The first device to produce a donut with a hole was the donut cutter, invented by John Blondell in 1872 in Maine. It was a spring cutter with a center tube. The first American promotion for a food product was Donut Month in October of 1929. So that's just a brief history of how donuts went from being handmade to being made with machines. So there's some old ad pictures. There is a sidebar that has a recipe in it, and then this sidebar, which could be just kind of a bigger caption. It's just a section of information that's separate from the text. Maybe a fun fact, or it could be extra facts that go along with something mentioned in the main text. This sidebar says, donuts were dished out so often and in such quantities that they were considered a major war supply. The infantry was so enthusiastic about donuts that eventually its soldiers were nicknamed doughboys. And that's from another book called The Complete Junk Food Book. So in this section that was coming up called Doughboys and Doughgirls, right there, they were going to talk about how donuts were used during World War II and World War I, so that's where the term doughboy came from. I just wanted to use this sidebar so you could see what a sidebar is. And like I said, it's just an extra section of facts or information that the author wanted to include. And then the last text feature we're going to look at is an index. So when we read nonfiction or informational works, there is a lot of information, and while we might need to look up some extra stuff or we were like, what was that specific word? I want to go back to that page. You can look in the index. So whatever key term you're looking for, or event, or character, or person, or anything like that, you just look it up and it's in alphabetical order. And it has the page number after it. So this is really useful in informational text because there's a lot of information and you might not have time to flip through it and you might not remember what chapter it's in when you look at the table of contents. So an index is really useful. Alrighty, so we looked at 7 text features today in our donut book. So now I'm just going to flash up a paper with quick responses so you can think about this to yourself, you can write it down, you can talk about it with someone at home. So the first question is, what is your favorite donut? If you haven't tried one, you can write down what one you would like to try maybe. And then second, list 2 or more things that you learned from the video. So either it could be something you learned about donuts, or it could be something about text features that you learned today. So you can write those down, you can comment them. If you're in my class, we can talk about it tomorrow. And in case you were wondering, my favorite donut is the cake donut with white frosting and sprinkles. It is my favorite. I wish I could eat like 50 of them, but they're not good for you. So make sure if you do eat donuts, you eat them as a special treat. So I hope that you got some information out of this. We are looking at text features and donuts. Pair them together. It's a fun time. I hope you have a great day. I hope you're enjoying this rain and gloomy weather like I am. Staying inside, bundled up, doing your work and relaxing. I will see you next time.